In a fast-paced world, overwhelmed by information, we're drawn into moments of ambiguity. To gain the right bearing, we must venture beyond the clutter with lucidity to secure prime intelligence that will put us ahead. That agility comes from discernment, and that's precisely what we provide. With a heritage spanning 3 decades, RAM delivers deep insights and clear perspectives. We provide the intelligence you need to chart your path with precision. Credible and singular insights you can rely on. Results that set you apart with distinction. So, what drives us? It's our passion to uncover the true picture and leave no stone unturned. You could say it's our insignia of dedication, our commitment to integrity, objectivity, and excellence. As the world continues to rapidly evolve, we remain focused on the path of trusted and clear insights. That's why we're here for you. RAM, clarity in intelligence.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's session on how credit ratings can help your business. As a way of introduction, my name is Julie and I'm the Deputy CEO of RAM Ratings, Malaysia's premier rating agency. So I'm sure some of you have seen the video that was played just now, introducing RAM as Malaysia's oldest and largest credit rating agency. So today we are here to explain to you or introduce to you how credit ratings work and how it will benefit your business. Okay, so just allow me to introduce a little bit more about RAM in case you didn't catch some of the video snippets. We have been in business for the last 30 years. And of course, we were founded by Bank Negara Malaysia as an institution way back in 1990. And since then, we have mostly been rating a lot of companies, mostly large corporates, but we have also done a lot of medium-sized corporates as well as SMEs in the last 10 years. So our ratings are widely recognized by the financial services industry, particularly banks and financial investors. So they use our ratings for various purposes, but mostly to look at the credit assessment of companies such as yourselves. Okay. So you may ask, what can RAM do for you and what can credit ratings do for you? We have various solutions for companies in the SME space. Of course, I think the main one that we're going to talk about today is the RAM Credit Scan, which is a credit assessment service for SMEs. Also, we have various other types like, for example, we also do ESG ratings for large and small companies and for industries as well. Also, we have surveys looking at how SMEs have been coping with their business, with all the business challenges. So this is what we call the RAM Business Confidence Index. Yeah. So today we'll just focus on a credit scan, which is the service for SMEs for the E50 program. So in the next few slides, I'm just going to go through some of the introductory aspects of what credit ratings are, in case not everyone is familiar with that, and then how you may use credit ratings in your business with all your stakeholders. Okay. So, okay, first off, what are credit ratings? I think I recognize that not everyone is familiar with the term credit rating. So some of you may know it as credit scoring, credit, scores or evaluations, either done by banks or by credit reporting agencies. So it's more or less the same thing. So what actually do credit ratings or scores provide? It is basically an objective assessment of the credit worthiness of a company. So basically looking at the ability to pay their financial obligation, whether it is a long-term debt, short-term debt, bank borrowing, IOU to a counterparty. So these are all financial obligations of a company that a credit rating will be able to assess. So a credit rating looks at the company's performance in totality, looking at both the financial performance, the business performance, and also look at the way the management or the owner runs the companies. So looking at all these holistic aspects, then we form an evaluation of the company's financial standing and ability to honor its financial obligations to its counterparties. And then we come up with a rating that is also benchmarked against the peers in the relevant sector and also in the industry. So that is in a nutshell what credit rating is. Okay. Okay, so basically a credit rating from a third party, from a credible third party, will provide clarity of your financial standing and performance to your stakeholder. So the key word here is actually the third party. The credibility of the third party who produced the credit rating is important, yeah, because otherwise anyone using those credit ratings has to look at how objective that assessment is, and it has to come from a reliable source. So obviously, if you were to tell your banker, for example, your on-credit assessment, they may or may not believe you. But if it comes from an independent third party, then it becomes a lot more, it carries a lot more weight. So coming from RAM, which is Malaysia's oldest and premier rating agency, and if those ratings are used by the financial sector, it carries a lot of weight, because then people know that RAM is an independent party. It is also trustworthy, and it has got an excellent track record in credit assessment of companies. Okay, so that in a nutshell is what credit rating is. And then moving on, who uses ratings? So obviously, I think all companies can benefit from ratings, whether they are large or small companies, whether they are listed or non-listed, it doesn't really matter, because as I explained earlier, ratings is an assessment of your holistic performance in terms of both your financial and your business performance and your credit worthiness, yeah, ability to honor your financial obligations, whether they are large or small. So all companies can use ratings to represent themselves to their stakeholders. And then what are the ways in which then ratings can help them? Obviously, if you're talking to bankers, then the ratings will help to at least, help you in your cost of funding when you talk to these bankers. So if you have a good credit rating, then obviously the cost of financing would be lower, because why? Your risk of default is much lower compared to somebody with a poor credit rating. Okay, so basically the higher or the stronger the credit rating, technically the lower the risk of default, and therefore the cost of financing the loan to you should be lower. And that is what investors are looking at for credit ratings. It indicates the risk probability, the risk of default of the company. So if they feel that through the credit rating, the risk is low, they are willing to accept a lower return on lending money to you. And so that is the primary use of credit ratings. Now, of course, there are other users, plenty of other users as well. So one other use is that you can use credit ratings to expand your pool of investors, whether it is bankers, whether it's new money coming in, capital, new equity owners, or private investors, or even public investors. If you're going for listing, for example, all that can help you relay a message of branding yourself to these investors in telling them how good your credit is. So credit ratings actually serve that purpose, yeah, to provide an independent opinion of your credibility and the profiling to your stakeholders. And also because then if you are able to, it will also help you assess different types of funding from the capital or from the bank market. Then it also helps you diversify your risk of funding, not just to one particular pool, but to various other pools. So you can tap from the bond market, from the bank market, from the private equity market. So all these so they open up doors for you. So without, with credit ratings coming from an independent, credible third party, it actually helps you open up the access to financing. Okay, so we understand that many of the SMEs, especially through the, the last 2-3 years, have been facing difficulty in sourcing for finance from some of the institutional providers such as banks. So credit rating actually does help to create more visibility and transparency for your business to approach these financiers. And of course, there are other ways in which you can use credit ratings, particularly in your supply chain. So the supply chain are those counterparties, your suppliers and your trade creditors, who may be giving you trade terms or maybe even giving you advances, in dealing with your business. So they would probably require some kind of validation of your credit worthiness. And that's where credit ratings can really help. In the past, the past 10 or 20 years or so, we also have a lot of demand from large MNCs, for example, asking us to validate some of the credit worthiness of some of the supply chain. So many of them are also SMEs. So these MNCs would like to have some confidence that they are dealing with credit-worthy companies before they even start the relationship. So that's where one area where it is particularly important, where credit ratings are used. And of course, like I said earlier, ratings open doors for you, not just with the financial world, but with all the other stakeholders whom you may be interested to talk to in marketing your products in new markets and so on. Okay, so I think the next few slides is just an elaboration of what I said earlier, how lenders use ratings. So basically to price your risk, basically, or to price the loan. So like I said earlier, the higher or the stronger the rating, then the chances are that you may be able to enjoy a lower rate of financing from these bankers, whether they are commercial banks or DFIs or government agencies even, it should be able to help you, at least if you get a good rating, it should be able to help you lower your cost of financing. Yeah, because your risk of default is lower than compared to somebody who doesn't have such a good rating. And also, of course, for lenders, big banks, especially when they are marketing to SMEs and they want to know which SME to target or lend to, they also use rating as an indicator, one of the indicators in which to target, creating relationships with certain segments or certain SMEs that they prefer. Yeah? So that is how lenders use credit ratings. As for investors and stakeholders, so obviously, if you're looking for capital, a new equity partner, for example, or somebody to provide an angel investor, for example, into your business, they will need this kind of investigation into your company, looking at the credit, looking at the profiling, looking at the potential, looking at all other things that they need to make to come to a decision. So rating is one of those very useful tools for these investors to look at, so whether if they were to invest a certain amount in your company, whether they will be able to get back that money in X amount of years, for example. So that is how credit ratings can help move financing. Obviously, and also investment decisions. So if you have a strong rating, then obviously it gives the investors confidence that if they were to invest a certain amount in you or take a certain stake in your company, then the probability of them recovering that investment or calling it a good investment will be much higher than somebody with a poor rating, for example. And the next group of people who can benefit or who can use rating as well are the authorities. So increasingly, we are seeing that as part of a licensing agreement, for example, a procurement exercise through a GLC or a government tender, for example, one of the criteria may be, of course, they require financially strong companies to enter the bid, right? So that's where credit rating becomes very useful. So if you are going to tender for a government project, for example, you will probably benefit very much from having a credit rating by an independent party such as RAM to then be part of that submission document in which to convince or to increase your chance of getting that bid, because then you are telling the agency that you are in a strong position. to perform the whatever exercise that is, to deliver the project, because you have the financial capacity to do so. So that is one very, I think, very important use for bid and tenders, yeah, whether it's through the public sector or the private sector as well. Increasingly, they are looking at the financial strength of bidders. Regulatory needs as well, in terms of banks. Of course, obviously, they need to provide capital for their loans. So they are more willing to lend to companies that have better credit, because they need to provide less capital for those good companies. So it is also an important criteria for banks to use ratings. And that's where ratings, if you have a rating, it is useful, because, you know, you tell them that you are much lower risk, and therefore, you know, the propensity for them to look at you and to grant that financing may be better. Of course, government agencies have a lot of grants, especially in these hard times. So I think one of the supplementary tool that you can provide to access those grants may be a credit rating as well. It also tells you that, you know, if the government were to give you such grant or loan subsidy, you're actually in a good position to repay them over X amount of years. And so, you know, it is a good investment for those grantors. Yeah, so for those government agencies that give all these grants or subsidized schemes, then I think a credit rating is a useful supplementary tool for you to provide to them. Okay, so the next section is just a little bit more elaboration of what ratings, how ratings can benefit your business, and how to grow, you know, how it can help to grow your business. I think I've already explained, and you've already heard most of the benefits, you know, in terms of the marketing access, in terms of the profiling, increasing your profiling, in terms of how, you know, you can convince third-party investors and stakeholders to invest in your business or to deal with you through the supply chain. Obviously, one of the key benefit is it optimizes the cost of financing, basically lower the cost of financing for you as well, if you have a good rating. And also it allows you to reach out to create new trade relationships, for example, through with a big MNC, for example, because they are quite particular sometimes in who they deal with. So credit rating is definitely useful in that area. So all of these areas can actually benefit from having credit rating, provided it is provided by a credible third party. Yeah, so that branding of the supplier of that credit rating is very important, because it affects how people accept those ratings and how whether they believe it or not. Yeah, so I think we have enough track record and experience through our 30 years formation to be able to provide you those, you know, the confidence in that the rating is a credible one, it's an objective one, and is acceptable by the financial community. So this is just a little bit more about how companies use our rating for profiling, for reporting purposes, you know. So if you are Bursa listed, you know, they will announce their ratings. And also if you, for compliance purposes, they can also tell the regulators how, you know, what their ratings are and how they've progressed over time. So all these are practical examples of how companies can use ratings, whether it is for profiling, whether it's for compliance purposes, and all of that. Yeah. So I think this one last actual or practical benefit that I just want to show you today is the financing cost. So this is an example of the bond financing, the bond market financing, and how rating actually help to lower the cost of financing for people, for companies that tap the bond market. So if you look from the left-hand side, the rating band starts from AAA, where RAM ratings are concerned. So the highest rating is a AAA, strongest rating, all the way down to C rating, which is the lowest rating. So, you know, we are looking at from AAA to, as you go down the rating scale, you have, like, for example, an A3. So between a AAA, which is the strongest rating category, to an A3, there are differences in the financing costs. So somebody who raised a AAA bond, who is rated a AAA, he is able to pay just about under 5% yield, you know, per annum on the the cost on the amount that he has financed or he has borrowed, compared to somebody, for example, who is rated an A3, which is a couple of grades away from being the strongest. So basically, it's an average strength. He needs to pay about, sub of 6 or 7% for his financing amount. So it actually, if you're raising some amount in the bank or the financial market, it actually, this 2-3 percentage point actually does help to save a lot of cost for you. Yeah. In which then you can use the extra funds to grow your business or to market it, for example. So instead of paying a high cost borrowing cost, you can then leverage that to in other parts of your business. So I think this is just an example of the practical implication of having a credit rating for the banking market. Yeah. So bank loans similar as well. The higher the better the rating, the lower that cost of funds which the bank will quote you. So if it is quote as a percentage above a base lending rate, for example, or the base rate, then the stronger rating will probably be able to enjoy a lower rate compared to the weaker ratings. Yeah. So, okay, so I think I've come to the end of the introductory part of what credit ratings are and how it can benefit your business. So now we'll move on to our actual product or service that we're offering to the SME companies, or whoever is in the E50 award nomination categories. So we have created a special package of services for the E50 participants. And it is through a service that we call RAM Credit Scan. And so to take you further into how the service works and what it is, I would like to invite my colleague, Esther, who will explain to you and take you through some of the details. Yeah. Thank you very much. Esther?
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. I'm very happy to see all you here. I'll take you through the RAM Credit Scan. Before that, let me just share a short video that will give you a very good snapshot.
Do you want to raise your company profile? Are you having trouble getting funding? We have just a solution for you. Introducing RAM Credit Scan, a credit assessment service for companies by RAM Ratings. Guided by RAM's established methodologies, RAM Credit Scan evaluates your company's industry, business, and financial risks and consolidates them into grades recognized as industry standards. The RAM Credit Scan report provides clear insights into the creditworthiness of your company, be it your organization's strengths and risks, and the health of your finances. This report also helps you assess your market position and benchmark your company to your peers. RAM Credit Scan is a cost-effective and credible answer to your needs to open new doors for your business or take your business to new heights. Sign up for RAM Credit Scan today.
Okay, so we have the RAM Credit Scan, to offer to all of you who are part of the E50 program. And in fact, this is the first time that the RAM Credit Scan is being offered in this manner for E50 participants. And just a brief elaboration of the service itself. The RAM Credit Scan is a special service that we're offering for SMEs in order to describe and also to rank your creditworthiness. Now, the rating scale is the RAM Credit Scan rating scale is expressed on a scale of 15 grades, whereby it runs from AAA all the way down to C. And the rating scale itself provides an easy way for your bankers or your counterparties to have a good sense as to where your credit standing is. And as how Julie explained earlier on, the RAM Credit Scan rating is a forward assessment of both your business performance as well as your financial health. So it gives a good assessment that other parties can rely on in order to have a good sense of where your credit risk is. And one thing is that besides being an E50 award recipient, having a credit scan will also be taken like another stamp of approval in terms of your state of maturity as well as your achievements. So what do we assess in the credit ratings of SMEs for the RAM credit scan? We combine our assessments of the industry, the business, as well as the financials in order to derive a rating, a base rating, and then there will be adjustments that we will impute in, and these adjustments are company-specific aspects. For example, it could be that your company has the benefit of very strong shareholder support. So in this case, then an uplift will be imputed in order to derive the final rating. At the bottom that you see at the screen here is the RAM credit scan rating scale itself. It runs from AAA, which is the strongest rating, all the way down to C, which is the weakest. I mentioned earlier on that the rating scale is 15 grades. So what we have is that there are subscripts 1, 2, and 3 that's assigned to the AA category, single A category, BBB, BB. Yeah. So what it does is that it provides more granularity for the users of the credit ratings to be able to differentiate between a company in the AA category compared to another one. So a AA1 SME would be viewed to be stronger compared to a AA3 SME, for example. And SMEs in AA category would be stronger compared to BBB rated SMEs. So that's how your bankers as well as your counterparties would look at the credit ratings to be able to place where your company is in terms of its credit risk. And this rating scale also makes it very easy for your bankers or your investors to be able to compare across companies in different sectors. Yeah, because the rating scale is easy to use, and it allows for the users to just compare across different sectors and different types of companies. This is a snapshot of the credit scan. So as part of the service offering, besides having a credit rating assigned to represent the credit worthiness of your company, there will be a credit scan report that accompanies your rating. Over at the right here, what you see is an extract of the first page of the credit scan report. The report itself is about 5 to 10 pages long. The first page gives you an executive summary of how your business standing as well as your financial standing is evaluated and assessed by RAM in a matrix that you can see on the top left-hand side of the report. And as you scroll down, you can see that there will be an elaboration or summary of the key factors that RAM assesses as part of the credit scan assessment. Okay, and the report starts off by giving a summary firstly, and then a description of your company. For SMEs, this is very important because most of you will not have the time to be able to write at length as to describe your company and also give a better sense and confidence to your lenders or other counterparties. So RAM will do that on your behalf. We will describe your company, also give a sense as to when your company has commenced operations, how long has been in the business, and the key part in which your lenders or your investors will look into will generally be where we put the key strengths and key risks of your company. So this is based on our independent assessment that is objective, and it gives a sense of comfort to the users of the report. And in subsequent parts of the report, we will further elaborate on what the strengths and evaluations are of your industry as well as your business. And lastly, the report covers the financial assessment. And in this section, we will cover your profitability trends, we will cover your leverage position, your liquidity, and we will also be covering a peer comparison. And that is very useful because the user of your report will be able to have a sense as to where your company stacks up compared to peers in its industry. And lastly, the report will also contain a table that summarizes the key financial numbers of your company for the past 3 years, as well as the key financial ratios. So it makes it very easy for the your banker or the user of your report to have a good snapshot as to how your finances appear. So how do you come on board for a RAM credit scan service? Now, as mentioned earlier, RAM is a strategic partner to SME Corp for the E50 program. And we have, for the first time, a special incentive to offer the RAM credit scan rating and the report to the E50 winners and as well as the alumni. And for this special incentive, the rating fee is fully subsidized by SME Corp as well as RAM. Okay, so what you need to do is to sign up a consent form. Basically, the consent form will say 3 things. It will say that you agree to appoint RAM to provide this service as part of the E50 program. And you agree to provide some basic information to RAM in order to undertake the rating exercise. And thirdly, you agree for your credit scan report to be shared with SME Corp. So it's a simple consent form that you just need to sign. And after this, we will revert with a list of information so that you are guided as to what needs to be submitted by your company for us to undertake the rating due diligence work. It's nothing complicated. You do not need to worry about it. You just need to fill up a 1-page information on, for example, when your business commence operations, what your key strategic strengths are, what your value proposition is, for example, and how many employees you have in your organization. And as for the financial information, what we need from you is 3 to 5 years of your latest audited accounts. So once you submit in the information, we will kickstart the rating due diligence work, and our analysts will provide and complete the RAM credit scan report to you within 2 weeks. And within these 2 weeks as well, if there's any clarification that is required of our analysts on the information that you submitted, we will send you an email to seek some clarification. But otherwise, if it's not needed, you can just wait for 2 weeks and you will get your concise report emailed to you, and a copy of which will be shared with SME Corp. So what can you do with your credit ratings and your RAM credit scan report? Firstly, if you are seeking financing, you're expanding your plan, for example, or looking into getting a new line to support your business expansion, and you're looking for financing, the best way is firstly take your RAM credit scan report and approach the strategic partner banks under the E50 program. And under the E50 program, we have 4 strategic partner banks, which are MIDF, SME Bank, RHB, and UOB. You can approach these 4 banks with your RAM credit scan report, and you may be able to enjoy faster approval for your financing, or you may even be able to get better financing terms based on your credit rating and the transparency and confidence that you're able to show to your bankers by virtue of the credit scan report. RAM is independent, so RAM will not be participating or taking part in this part of the initiative if you are thinking of seeking financing. Yeah, RAM does not provide financing nor participate in this part of the process. What we do is to be independent. We assess your credit worthiness, assign a rating, produce the RAM credit scan report for you, and we hand it over to you to take it through with your banks. Besides approaching the 4 strategic partner banks under the e50 program, you can also distribute your RAM credit scan report to other stakeholders. For example, maybe your existing banks. And you're thinking of expanding your credit line, for example, or there is a potential new investor that you would like to be able to get the confidence to invest in your company. So you can share that RAM credit scan report with them to build and expand your business. And as a special incentive as well for under the e50 program, your RAM credit scan as well, your rating, sorry, you have the option to make your rating public. What it means here is that if you opt to make your rating public, RAM will help you to prepare a press release, and the press release will be made available on RAM's website. So that again helps you in terms of profiling your business, getting more mileage. And when your counterparties or your strategic investors, etc., when they search and come to RAM's website, it again adds credibility to how you want to profile your company. Okay. So that's the end of my presentation. Whilst I've said that this incentive is offered under the e50 program, this RAM credit scan is also available to SMEs who are not the top 50 for this year or in the past years. You can just approach RAM directly. Of course, this will be outside of the subsidy program. And my number is here on the screen, so you can feel free to contact me. We have reached the end of our presentation. There are some Q&A which we will take. Julie and I will take your questions right now. So feel free to put in all your questions on the Q&A box, which is at the bottom of your screen. Okay. There is a question here from Mr. Krishna. Hi, Julie. We are dealing with medical facilities such as hospitals and clinics. RAM rating will surely help us get a credit term from these facilities. However, when I inquire back, the cost for the rating process annually is high for us SMEs. Perhaps RAM can come up with an affordable package for us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Mr. Krishnan. I think this is where this package, particularly the e50 SME package, is a very, very attractive one, because I think the cost is actually fully subsidized by both SME Corp and RAM in recognition of the importance of SME in the country. So I think if you are part of the e50 program, you actually may apply for this subsidy and go through that process with us to get this report. If you are not part of the e50, then you can please approach us and we will try to give you a much better rate in recognition of the SME status that you have. So I think either way, we are happy to do this service for you. So if you're part of E50, then all you have to do is just to sign the consent form and give us some of the basic information, and we will start the process of assessing your company, engaging with you and giving you that credit scan report. Otherwise, you can just contact Esther. She should be able to negotiate a pricing, a very good price for you as well to get the service. Yeah.
Just to add on, Mr. Krishnan, we will be sending a feedback form to all of you who attend this webinar. And in that feedback form as well, you can indicate to us that you are interested to have the RAM credit scan. And after that, we will,
get in touch
with you to get the process going.
Okay, how long does this credit validity? It's available up to, is it March or April?
The credit rating itself is valid for a year. That's the typical rating term for credit ratings. And the reason why it's usually about 12 months in terms of validity of a rating is also because companies change. Like, for example, SMEs grow very fast. And there's so much potential out there. So your rating definitely will not be stagnant for a very long time. So credit ratings itself is valid for 12 months. But in terms of the RAN Credit Scan incentive program that we have in collaboration with SME Corp, currently it runs for 6 months from now up to April next year. But definitely, we will be extending this incentive if there's a response of interest, a lot of interest. We will be looking into that. Thank you.
Okay, so we have one question here. If I may ask, how will RAM help boost recruitment branding for higher education institution, since we rely more on MyCetera ratings, times higher ratings, etc.? Okay, I think it is good as well that the credit rating can also help in, help to enhance your standing. Maybe not from an educational point of view, but actually from a financial point of view. So parents who are sending their kids to your institution would also like to know whether you will still be around, next year or 5 years from now, and how financially strong you are, because they are making a long-term investment of 3 to 4 years, if it is a degree program, for example, and they are paying money for their children to get that education. So obviously, if I were a parent, I don't want the institution to collapse, in my 2nd or 3rd year of education, and then I will have no way to recover, or to continue with my education. So I think the financial standing is also very important for all these, whether you're a financial institution, whether you're an education institution, it doesn't really matter. But because at the end of the day, it is all about financial capacity and ability to honor your obligations. So in the case of a financial institution such as yourself, then the honor is for you to be able to allow all your stakeholders to complete their education based on, what they've signed on for, and that you are, you're in a good standing, you're a strong institution, you should be able to fulfill your commitments to them. So I think that's what credit ratings can also help where education institutions are concerned. Hopefully that answers your question.
How do we know whether we are part of the E50 or not? Okay, currently under the incentive program, we are offering it to the E50 winners for this year, as well as the E50 alumni winners. So every year under the E50 program, the winners for the year, which are the top 50, you will be notified that you are a winner. And secondly, there will also be an award ceremony, as well as some other profiling activities in which SME Corp would have organized for you. So this part of the E50. But don't worry, we know that it's always a journey when it comes to, a business, as well as, scaling greater heights and taking your business up to the highest and biggest possible levels. So even if you're not, say, a winner or part of the E50 alumni right now, do not worry. You can still approach RAM and we will contact you to see how we can help you with the RAM Credit Scan service. Of course, it will be outside of the subsidy program that we are currently offering to only the E50 winners as well as alumni.
Yeah, actually, Esther, the 2022 E50 winners have not been announced yet, right?
Yes, not yet.
When Correct. Is that going to be announced?
The actual announcement of winners itself will be towards end November during the award ceremony. But if you are
past winner,
you are past winner, you would already
qualify, right?
You would already qualify to enjoy the RAM Credit Scan service that is fully subsidized.
Yeah, which is free for you, right? Yeah. So.
I believe that the marketing email blast has already been sent out to all of you who are recipients of past awards as well.
Okay, I think do we have any more questions coming in? Feel free to ask all your questions, and we'll try our best to answer that. Or if you can think of questions later on, then feel free to post us the question. I think you have our email, the information in from our slides. So yeah, just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to explain to you how this thing works, and also maybe, take you through some of the key steps in which to get a rating. If you want to discuss fees, if you're not part of the E50, then we are happy to do so with you as well. Yeah. So yes, just feel free to reach out to ourselves, to Esther, through our general email as well, and we should be able to get in touch with you. And so just leave us your email or your phone contact. So I think we have answered all the
We have
questions.
answered all the questions. So we do hope that you found today's session insightful. And well, we hope to see many of you at the E50 award ceremony in November, towards end of November. And well, if you do not make it to the top 50 this year, don't worry, there's always future years as well. And we do encourage all SMEs to put in the effort to participate in the E50 program, because it helps you to upgrade yourself and also to strive, for the highest level possible. And being an E50 award recipient comes with a lot of privileges as well. Profiling is one thing, but it also means that you have reached a certain level of maturity in your business. And to make that even better is that you get a RAM credit scan branding to go with it as well. So I believe the link to the Google form, the feedback form, is in the chat box. You can actually access there in order to contact us to get your RAM credit scan. So that's it for today. We thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, I think, hang on, there is a Q&A.
Oh, there's another Q&A.
No, I think that's it. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much for your time. And hopefully we'll see you at the ceremony. And if not, just, come and chat with us as well for a coffee. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. Bye.
Good evening. Bye-bye.
In a fast-paced world, overwhelmed by information, we're drawn into moments of ambiguity. To gain the right bearing, we must venture beyond the clutter with lucidity to secure prime intelligence that will put us ahead. That agility comes from discernment, and that's precisely what we provide. With a heritage spanning 3 decades, RAM delivers deep insights and clear perspectives. We provide the intelligence you need to chart your path with precision. Credible and singular insights you can rely on. Results that set you apart with distinction. So, what drives us? It's our passion to uncover the true picture and leave no stone unturned. You could say it's our insignia of dedication, our commitment to integrity, objectivity, and excellence. As the world continues to rapidly evolve, we remain focused on the path of trusted and clear insights. That's why we're here for you. RAM, clarity in intelligence.